Kung Fu Panda. We've all heard of it, and we've all seen it. Is it just a silly kung fu cartoon, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Welcome to Master Shot, where today I'll be saying the phrase kung fu more times than I've ever done in my life. Po is an average kung fu enjoyer who works serving noodles to the people in the town with his father Ping. One day, Kung Fu Master Oogway hosts a tournament to select the next Dragon Warrior, with everyone in the valley, including Po, coming to see who gets chosen. To everyone's surprise, Po, a fat lazy panda who has no experience with actual kung fu, gets picked by Oogway and is told that he is the Dragon Warrior. Whilst training with the Furious Five, a group of professional kung fu warriors skilled in the martial arts, news breaks out that Tai Lung is out of prison and is coming to take down the Jade Palace. Facing doubt from both his peers and within, Po must find what it takes to save the valley and recognize his true potential as the Dragon Warrior. I haven't seen many kung fu movies before, but after rewatching Kung Fu Panda, I intend to watch a whole lot more. Like many other people, I have seen this film a few times before, but never under the intention of reviewing it. And honestly, I was really surprised at how good this animated film is. With a living fat joke as the main character voiced by Jack Black, it's easy to overlook this as a generic DreamWorks action film. But taking a closer look, there are a lot of indications that this is actually a movie worth your time. Let's start with the presentation. I was blown away at how beautiful or how dynamic some of these shots were, and the overall art direction feels authentic. It shows us from the very start that, while this movie is set in a real country, it isn't afraid to take some liberties. Believe it or not, Kung Fu Panda started a national debate in China as to why a Western animation company can make a film about Chinese culture better than the Chinese themselves. DreamWorks nailed the cultural elements of this film in a tasteful and professional manner. There were moments in this film where I was blown away at the presentation. If this wasn't an animated movie, it could very well have won an award for its cinematography. As mentioned before, while Po is basically a walking fat joke, Kung Fu Panda isn't overbearing on the fact that he packs a little extra weight. While there are some scenes that poke fun of his fat, in the end the main message of the film is that you should embrace what makes you different, and realize that fitting the mold will only bring unhappiness. This is an important message to teach both children and adults alike, and the way it was applied didn't feel like they were forcing it on you. Not only are the visuals fantastic in this film, but the characters are also what really make it as well. Po is an iconic character, but people really forget about the rest of the cast. The Furious Five's designs are all modelled after real-life kung fu styles of the same names, and you can see even from a static image how each one moves and fights. They could have just done this and called it a day like so many other films or cartoons would have, but instead they make each character's silhouette distinct and recognisable, even in fast-paced combat. The action in this film is captivating. It's both fast-paced and easy to follow, and each character's skills and flaws are utilised in their action sequences to great effect. The scene with the bridge is one of the coolest animated fights I've ever seen. Which brings me to the villain of this film. Tai Lung was introduced in such a badass way that anything he did afterwards was kind of overshadowed by his introduction. This film made him so hopelessly overpowered that the final battle between him and the Dragon Warrior felt like it was over way too quick, which sucks because Tai Lung has such a cool design and attitude, and it hurts to see his potential wasted so quickly. Perhaps one of the most surprising things about Kung Fu Panda is its mega cast of celebrities. You'd have a hard time looking through this big list of names and not find somebody who's been in a film you've already seen before. We have people like Jack Black, Dustin Hoffman, Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, Seth Rogen, and Lucy Liu all voicing characters in this film. These voices literally bring the characters to life, and for example, it would have been hard to imagine anyone other than Jack Black as Po. The directors John Stevenson and Mark Osborne hit gold with Kung Fu Panda, amassing over $630 million in the box office. With that kind of money, it's no surprise that there was a cartoon series and 2 additional movies created afterwards. If you like Kung Fu Panda but wanted the story to go a little bit darker, I would definitely recommend Kung Fu Panda 2. They double down on the visuals in that film and remedy the half job that was Tai Lung with an even more impressive villain. As for Kung Fu Panda 3, it's better to just forget about that one. Anyways, Hans fricking Zimmer did the music for this film. You know, the guy who scored Interstellar, The Dark Knight, and Dunkirk. I don't know how or why they got this guy to score this film, but I'll be damned if he didn't make me almost shed a tear at Oogway's death. Kung Fu Panda really opened up the possibilities for the US and China to collaborate on animated films. and when it was released in cinemas, Kung Fu Panda was animated twice to accommodate dialogue for both Mandarin and English. Jackie Chan recorded all his voiceovers in a single 5-hour recording session for his character Monkey, including the lines in Mandarin and Cantonese. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like China has made any good animated films since Kung Fu Panda spurred on the discussion of the West making a better Chinese film than they have, and there's only really been one notable example by the name of Ni Zha. Hopefully Kung Fu Panda still serves as an inspiration to Chinese filmmakers for years to come, because I would love to watch a Chinese animated film worth my time. There's obviously a market for East Asian films in the West, and as the years go by, people are getting more and more used to the idea of watching subtitled or dubbed films. However, Chinese animated films just aren't getting either the support or the funding to make an impact on the West. Rewatching Kung Fu Panda has seriously opened my eyes as to how good of an animated film it is, and I'm glad I took the time of day to give it a rewatch. Don't be fooled by its silly appearances, it's nowhere near as generic as some of DreamWorks' other films. It holds values that people of all ages and backgrounds can understand, and the way it's presented is fun, engaging, and authentic. The villain feels a little bare bones by the end, but due to the nature of the main character and his journey, it's understandable why they didn't go more in depth. This is why I think Kung Fu Panda deserves a 4 stars out of 5, for its brilliant take on the Kung Fu genre that accommodates every kind of audience. It's been recognized for its greatness by Chinese officials, and honestly, I think it's time for us in the West to recognize it too. But as usual, these are just my thoughts, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. This film wouldn't have been reviewed without being suggested to me, so if there's anything you want to see reviewed next, speak up and it may be in the next video. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Skadoosh.
Hear the legends of the Kung Fu Panda. Raised in a noodle shop, never seeking glory or fame. He climbed the mountaintop and earned the dragon warrior name. Kung Fu Panda. Master Shifu saw the